Poverty isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of vision. Think about this for a moment. Most people focus on the next paycheck, trading hours instead of building assets. True wealth starts when you see beyond today's income and begin planning for tomorrow's freedom. And here's the truth. Discipline compounds faster than income. Small, consistent decisions today shape freedom tomorrow. It's not about earning more. It's about making the right decisions consistently, saving before spending, investing with intention, and avoiding the traps of instant gratification. These small steps, repeated over months and years, create unstoppable momentum toward financial independence. So today, I will teach you how to create clarity for your financial future. Build habits that compound wealth, and take the steps toward true financial freedom, because if you know exactly what freedom looks like, every dollar will find its purpose. When we talk about money, there's a subtle trap that many fall into, confusing being rich with being wealthy. You see, being rich is often temporary. It's about having a lot of money today, having cash in your pocket, or being able to spend freely for a season. I've seen people come into sudden earnings, a bonus, a sale, or even a lucky windfall, and for a short period, they feel rich. But soon, without strategy, that richness fades. It doesn't last. Because richness alone doesn't teach sustainability, doesn't create systems, and doesn't generate independence. It's fleeting. Wealth, on the other hand, is a completely different game. Wealth isn't about the size of your paycheck or the flashiness of your car or house. Wealth is about stability, longevity, and freedom. Wealth is having the ability to sustain your lifestyle, not just today, but for decades, and even across generations. It's the result of disciplined thinking, consistent habits, and an understanding that money must work for you, not the other way around. When you're wealthy, you don't just spend what you earn, you make sure your earnings create more earnings, and you build systems that protect and grow your assets. I remember when I first learned this principle. Early in my life, I earned more than I knew how to manage. I felt rich. I could buy things, impress people, and feel a momentary satisfaction. But the wealth, the lasting security, wasn't there. It only came when I started to think long term, when I started putting systems in place, when I focused on investments, assets, and intellectual growth instead of fleeting pleasures. I began to see that the goal isn't just to feel rich today, it's to be wealthy for tomorrow, next year, and the years after that. Being wealthy changes your decisions. It changes how you approach risk, how you spend, and how you save. It's not measured in flashy consumption. It's measured in the value you leave behind and the freedom you gain. True wealth allows you to live life on your terms, without fear or constant worry. And that's a lesson worth learning. Remember this, being rich is temporary, but being wealthy is timeless. Choose the mindset that builds for generations, not just for today. One of the most fundamental lessons in financial freedom is understanding the difference between the mindset of an employee and that of an investor. The employee tends to think in terms of, I'll pay my bills, then maybe save what's left. The problem with this approach is obvious. There is rarely anything left. Life has a way of consuming your leftover money. Unexpected expenses, lifestyle creep, temptations, and before you know it, freedom is delayed indefinitely. Survival becomes the focus, not growth. The investor, however, flips this equation entirely. An investor pays themselves first. Every month, a portion of income is allocated to investments, assets, or growth opportunities before anything else is spent. This is not about greed. It's about prioritizing long-term freedom over short-term comfort. When you commit to investing first, you put compounding to work on your side. Even small amounts consistently invested, grow exponentially over time. I've seen young people start with modest amounts and over decades create enough passive income to replace a traditional paycheck. That's the power of paying yourself first. Now, let's think about compounding. Compounding is not just a financial principle, it's a life principle. Every dollar you spend on liabilities, cars, gadgets, vacations beyond your means, delays your freedom. Every dollar that compounds in assets, stocks, businesses, real estate, intellectual property, accelerates it. I've witnessed this personally. When I redirected even a modest percentage of my earnings into investments early on, it multiplied quietly, consistently, and predictably. The freedom it created wasn't instant, but over years, it became undeniable. This is why we say, multiply money through compounding, not consumption. Your focus should always be on building streams of wealth that work while you sleep, rather than temporary satisfaction that works only while you spend. Remember, financial freedom is not a matter of how much you earn. It's a matter of how you think and what you do first. Pay yourself, invest, and let compounding do the rest. That's the difference between surviving today and thriving for a lifetime. Every fortune starts with disciplined seed money. Think about a farmer planting a tiny seed. Without that seed, there is no harvest. Without capital, there is no wealth. It may seem small at first, almost inconsequential, but the power lies in consistency and discipline. I've seen countless people earn high incomes and yet remain trapped financially because they never planted their seed. They spent every dollar they earned, leaving nothing to grow. Wealth doesn't magically appear. It begins with deliberate, disciplined action. The philosophy is simple. You cannot grow what you do not plant. Capital is the seed of wealth. That seed, once planted, must be nurtured with patience, knowledge, and reinvestment. The earlier you start, the longer compounding has to work its quiet, exponential magic. This is why even small amounts, regularly saved, can snowball into significant financial power over time. I remember when I began my own journey, starting with modest savings, but the consistent discipline of planting those seeds month after month transformed my future. Practical steps are straightforward, yet powerful. Decide on a fixed percentage of every paycheck to save before touching anything else. Treat it as non-negotiable, just like paying rent or taxes. Automate it if necessary. This ensures the seed is always planted, even when life tries to distract you with immediate gratification. The consistency is more important than the size of the seed at first. Wealth strategies expand on this principle. Direct your seed money into productive assets, index funds, dividend-paying stocks, or small-scale rental properties. These assets work for you, growing quietly while you focus on other pursuits. Over time, reinvest the returns, allowing compounding to accelerate the growth. I've seen modest initial investments multiply several times, simply because the investor committed to disciplined planting and reinvestment. Remember, without the seed, there is no growth. Wealth begins with the simple act of disciplined saving. Plant the seed, nurture it with knowledge and patience, and watch your financial future transform. The harvest belongs to those who plant wisely. Wages feed you today, assets feed you forever. Take a moment, let that sink in. Think about the paycheck you receive. It puts food on your table, pays your bills, maybe even funds a small vacation. It feels vital because it's immediate, tangible. But ask yourself, what happens if that paycheck stops? Jobs end, businesses falter, economies shift. A wage, no matter how generous, is fleeting. True financial security isn't measured by today's comfort. It's measured by whether you'll be fed tomorrow, next year, and for decades to come. That's the power of assets. The philosophy is simple but profound. Jobs sustain life. Assets create lasting freedom. Wages provide temporary relief, but assets generate perpetual value. They are your financial seeds planted to grow independently of your time and labor. Assets, once chosen wisely, continue to pay dividends, rent, royalties, or interest long after your active effort is ended. I recall my early years, working multiple jobs, feeling constantly pressured to make ends meet. The turning point wasn't earning more, it was redirecting a portion of what I earned into assets that would pay me repeatedly. That shift changed my life. Practical steps are clear. Take a portion of every paycheck, regardless of size, and invest it in something that will return money over and over again. It may feel slow at first. The seedling doesn't sprout overnight, but consistency compounds into exponential growth. Automate the process if you must. Treat it like paying yourself first. You are planting a tree whose shade you may enjoy years from now, and whose fruit may feed generations after you. Wealth strategies expand on this principle. Consider dividend-paying stocks that release a portion of earnings to shareholders regularly. Think of real estate, rental properties that generate monthly cash flow while appreciating in value. Intellectual property, books, patents, or digital products can create royalties that continue indefinitely. The goal is to have money working while you sleep, while you travel, while you focus on other pursuits. Assets transform your time into a machine for building wealth. Remember, wages are temporary. Assets are eternal. Feed yourself today, but let your assets feed you forever. Plant, nurture, and watch them provide freedom that no paycheck alone can ever deliver. Your formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Take a moment and consider that. School teaches you the basics: reading, writing, arithmetic, maybe some history or science. It equips you to earn a paycheck, to survive in the world. But surviving is not thriving. Thriving, especially financially, comes from continuous learning beyond the classroom. Knowledge alone isn't wealth, but applied knowledge is the foundation of fortune. The philosophy is clear. School ends, but your personal education never should. The rich understand that learning is an investment, and like any good investment, it compounds over time. While others spend their free hours on distractions, the wealthy spend theirs sharpening their financial IQ, mastering the language of money, and understanding how to make money work for them. I remember my early years trying to grow financially while knowing very little about investing. What changed my trajectory wasn't a bigger paycheck. It was dedicating time every day to reading, studying markets, understanding business principles, and learning negotiation skills. Those hours paid off exponentially later. Practical steps are simple but require discipline. Dedicate 5–10% of your income to personal development. It may be books, courses, seminars, mentorships, or coaching. Treat this as paying yourself first. The ROI on knowledge far exceeds any short-term expenditure. Make it a habit to learn consistently, not sporadically. Learning must be deliberate, structured, and applied. Wealth strategies focus on applying what you learn until it becomes second nature. Study investment strategies. Understand market cycles. Learn to read financial statements and grasp negotiation techniques. Don't just collect information, use it. Start small, apply lessons in real-world investments, side businesses, or even everyday financial decisions. Each correct application reinforces your knowledge and builds confidence. Eventually, your learning multiplies, your income enhances your decision-making, and positions you to seize opportunities others can't even see. Remember, formal education will make you a living, but self-education, the continuous pursuit of knowledge, applied in practical ways, will make you a fortune. Commit to learning, apply it relentlessly, and watch your wealth grow as a natural byproduct of your wisdom. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Think about that for a moment. Every choice you make today either adds a feather to your future success or a boulder to your future regrets. Financial discipline may feel small, almost invisible, but it accumulates quietly and powerfully over time. Conversely, the lack of discipline may seem harmless now, but eventually it becomes a burden that's nearly impossible to carry. I've seen people earn well, yet struggle financially simply because they never established habits of saving, investing, or tracking their spending. The regret of missed opportunities and mounting debt grows heavier with every passing year. The philosophy is simple. Small, consistent acts of discipline today prevent massive burdens tomorrow. Wealth is rarely the result of sudden windfalls. It's the product of habits, repeated choices that compound over time. The rich understand that discipline is more than a virtue. It's a tool. It structures their lives, automates their success, and protects them from the weight of poor decisions. Without discipline, even the highest income can vanish. Practical steps are straightforward but demand consistency. First, create non-negotiable financial habits. Commit to saving a fixed percentage of every paycheck. Invest consistently and track all your expenses. Make this part of your lifestyle, not an afterthought. Secondly, build routines that reinforce accountability. Review your budget weekly, measure your progress monthly, and adjust when necessary. These small, structured actions accumulate into a lifetime of financial security. Wealth strategies revolve around automation and removal of reliance on sheer willpower. Automate your savings and investments so that money flows directly into your wealth-building accounts before you even see it. Set up automatic bill payments to avoid penalties and maintain cash flow discipline. Use tools, apps, or systems to track spending. Categorize expenses and highlight leaks. When discipline is embedded in your systems, it no longer feels like a daily struggle. It becomes the path of least resistance toward prosperity. Remember, ounces of discipline today spare tons of regret tomorrow. Commit to disciplined action now, automate your financial habits, and watch your wealth grow with consistency and ease. Work full-time on your job, part-time on your fortune. That line carries more truth than many realize. I've met countless individuals who dream of financial freedom, yet overlook the power of leveraging their current situation. Your job is more than a paycheck. It's a platform, a springboard, and a source of capital that can fund the life you truly desire. Prematurely quitting without a plan is like trying to build a skyscraper without a foundation. It's risky and unnecessary. The philosophy is simple. Honor your current role, extract the maximum value from it, and simultaneously invest your time and energy into building lasting wealth. The essence of this principle lies in balance. Work diligently in your job to secure a reliable income, while strategically carving out hours outside of work for wealth creation. It's during evenings, weekends, and any spare moments that your fortune begins to take shape. The wealthy don't wait for luck. They design opportunities with deliberate action. I recall my early days, working full-time while investing every spare moment into learning sales, building small ventures, and exploring real estate. That disciplined split between immediate obligations and long-term vision created a foundation that eventually allowed me to operate from a place of freedom, not desperation. Practical steps are about structured allocation of time and energy. Dedicate specific hours each week to income-generating projects beyond your job. This could be starting a small online business, learning about dividend investments, or developing intellectual property. Treat these hours as non-negotiable appointments with your future self. Track progress weekly, adjust strategies, and measure results to ensure your part-time efforts yield measurable growth. Wealth strategies focus on minimizing risk while maximizing learning and asset creation. Begin with projects that require low capital but high personal input. Consulting, freelance work, content creation, or small-scale property investments. Reinvest profits into scalable opportunities until they become self-sustaining. Over time, your side ventures may grow large enough to supplement or even replace your primary income, all without jeopardizing your financial stability. Remember, your job is a tool to fund your fortune. Work full-time on it, but always carve time to build wealth outside of it. Small, consistent actions, compounded over time, turn part-time efforts into lifelong freedom. Don't let small thinking cost you big opportunities. That statement is simple, yet it captures a truth most people ignore. Far too often, we limit ourselves by thinking too small, settling for comfort and incremental gains, and missing the larger opportunities that life places before us. The philosophy here is profound. If your thinking is small, your results will inevitably be small. Big wealth, big freedom, and big influence require big thinking. Your mind must stretch before your bank account can. The first step is to confront your own mental limitations. Ask yourself, are my goals challenging enough to excite and scare me at the same time? Small, safe goals might feel comfortable, but they rarely create transformational results. Instead, set goals that push you beyond familiar territory, whether that's launching a business, investing in real estate, or entering markets that seem intimidating. It's in the space just beyond your comfort zone where growth occurs, where opportunity and reward multiply. Practical steps involve defining audacious, measurable goals and breaking them into actionable milestones. Write down where you want to be in 5 years, and then reverse engineer the path. Identify the skills, knowledge, and capital needed, and start acquiring them today. Surround yourself with people who think bigger than you, because vision is contagious. Conversations, mentorships, and mastermind groups expand your perspective and challenge your assumptions, creating fertile ground for wealth-building opportunities. Wealth strategies focus on calculated risk-taking. Big opportunities rarely come with zero risk, but smart investors understand the difference between reckless gambles and educated risks. Research potential investments thoroughly, leverage due diligence, and scale exposure gradually. Large-scale partnerships, high-value investments, or emerging markets often yield rewards far beyond what safe, incremental strategies can produce. And always protect the downside first. Reserve capital, diversify, and structure deals so losses are limited while upside potential remains significant. Remember, small thinking will cost you big opportunities. Stretch your mind, set audacious goals, and take calculated risks with purpose. When your vision grows, your wealth naturally follows. How to live well without overspending is a principle that separates the financially free from the financially trapped. Too often, people equate wealth with consumption, believing that a luxurious lifestyle defines success. The philosophy here is simple yet powerful. True wealth is freedom, not the accumulation of things. Money should be a tool to create options and peace of mind, not a chain that binds you to an endless cycle of earning and spending. Real wealth allows you to live comfortably without being enslaved by bills or appearances. The first step is understanding the difference between necessities and luxuries. Many of us confuse temporary satisfaction with lasting value. Ask yourself, does this purchase improve my life sustainably, or does it simply satisfy a fleeting desire? By separating luxury from necessity, you gain clarity over your spending, ensuring that each dollar works toward building wealth rather than eroding it. Small acts of restraint today compound into significant financial freedom tomorrow. Practical steps involve setting clear boundaries for discretionary spending. Create a budget that distinguishes essentials, housing, food, utilities, from indulgences. Limit luxuries until your investments and assets generate sufficient income to cover them comfortably. This discipline ensures that consumption never overtakes creation. Track every purchase and periodically review whether it aligns with your long-term goals. Wealth strategies extend beyond simple budgeting. Let your assets, not your wages, pay for indulgences. Build passive income streams, dividends, rental income, royalties, so that lifestyle enhancements are funded by money that works for you, not money you exchange for hours of labor. Automate reinvestment of returns to grow these income streams steadily, creating a self-sustaining cycle of freedom and abundance. By letting your assets fund your lifestyle, you break the link between earning and spending, unlocking true financial independence. Living well without overspending is not about denial. It's about aligning your lifestyle with long-term freedom. Spend consciously, invest wisely, and let your money work for you. When indulgences are funded by assets instead of wages, you experience luxury without compromise and freedom without fear. How to make your money work harder than you do is the cornerstone of lasting wealth. Many people labor endlessly for a paycheck, believing that their effort alone defines financial success. The philosophy here is that true wealth comes from leverage, using systems, capital, and people to create income that flows independently of your time. Money, when strategically deployed, can generate far more than the hours you personally invest, creating freedom and options you could never achieve through labor alone. The first step is understanding the power of reinvestment. Every dollar you earn can either be spent and disappear, or it can be strategically deployed to earn even more. Reinvesting returns from investments, dividends, or profits ensures your money compounds, creating an exponential growth trajectory. This habit requires discipline and patience because the temptation to consume is constant. The disciplined investor sees money as a tool, not a reward. Prioritizing long-term growth over short-term satisfaction. Practical habits include automating your reinvestment. When dividends or rental income arrive, channel them directly into additional investments rather than letting them sit idle or fund lifestyle upgrades. Treat each return as a seed for future growth. Evaluate every financial decision with the question, will this dollar work for me or will I work for this dollar? This mindset shifts your relationship with money from reactive to strategic. Wealth strategies involve building a compounding portfolio that grows on its own. Diversify across asset classes, stocks, bonds, real estate, and intellectual property, so that each stream generates income while mitigating risk. Use systems and technology to automate management and delegate tasks where possible, freeing your time for higher-level strategy and new opportunities. By creating a portfolio where profits automatically generate more profits, you harness the most powerful force in finance: compounding. Making your money work harder than you do is not about avoiding work. It's about multiplying its impact. When each dollar is employed to earn another, your wealth grows continuously, independent of your direct effort. Over time, the money itself becomes your most diligent employee, creating freedom, security, and the ability to live life on your own terms. How to grow multiple streams of income is a principle that separates those who live paycheck to paycheck from those who create true financial freedom. The philosophy is simple yet profound. One income is dangerous, many are freedom. Relying on a single source of money leaves you vulnerable to layoffs, market shifts, or unforeseen expenses. The wealthy understand that security and growth come from diversifying where your money flows and how it's generated, creating resilience and independence. The first practical habit is deliberate expansion. Aim to add at least one new income stream each year. This could start small, a side business, freelance work, or monetizing a skill. but consistency compounds over time. By consciously building multiple sources, you're no longer limited by the constraints of a single job or paycheck. Each stream not only adds money, but increases your options, confidence, and ability to take calculated risks in other areas of life. A key wealth strategy is to mix active and passive income. Active income, like consulting, side businesses, or specialized freelance work, leverages your skills and effort. Passive income, on the other hand, earns whether you work or not. Royalties from intellectual property, dividends from investments, rental income from real estate. Combining these ensures that even when one source fluctuates, others continue to grow, creating a self-sustaining financial ecosystem. Practical steps include allocating time and capital strategically. Dedicate a portion of your active income to developing a new revenue source each year. Study markets, seek mentorship, and experiment in low-risk ways until a stream matures. Automate income where possible. Set up systems for recurring payments, subscriptions, or investment reinvestments, so growth continues even when your attention is elsewhere. Building multiple streams of income transforms your mindset. You begin to think like an investor, not just an employee, seeing opportunities instead of limitations. Over time, these streams compound, not just financially, but in knowledge, connections, and experience. The more you diversify, the more control you gain over your life, and the faster you move toward financial independence. The goal is clear. Multiple streams of income create stability, resilience, and freedom. The wealthy don't rely on luck. They rely on strategy. Start today, expand consistently, and watch your money work for you, not the other way around. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a garden. What you plant there determines the fruit you will harvest in your life. If you allow weeds of scarcity, fear, and doubt to grow, no amount of money, effort, or opportunity will result in lasting wealth. I've seen it time and time again. People earn well, but their mindset keeps them trapped. They spend impulsively, avoid calculated risks, and fear the very change that could lift them into financial freedom. On the other hand, those who think like investors see opportunities where others see obstacles. They plan, they calculate, and they act with confidence. Guarding your mind starts with awareness. Pay attention to the inner dialogue that says, "I can't afford this," or "It's too risky." These thoughts are the silent killers of financial growth. Replace them with disciplined affirmations and clear goals. Treat every challenge as a lesson in decision-making, not a threat. I remember when I first started investing, each choice felt uncertain. But by educating myself and surrounding myself with people who thought bigger, I began to see risk not as something to fear, but as a chance to grow. Practical steps are simple but powerful. First, read and learn daily about money, investments, and business principles. The wealthy are always students of wealth. Second, surround yourself with people who have the mindset you wish to adopt. Energy is contagious, and a mindset of abundance will seep into your decisions. Third, take small, calculated risks regularly. Each step strengthens your confidence and your ability to make larger, wealth-building decisions. Strategically, focus on planning before spending. Evaluate every potential investment for its long-term impact, and measure each financial decision against your vision of freedom. Avoid impulsive purchases that satisfy immediate desire but hinder long-term goals. Develop a mental framework where opportunity outweighs fear and patience outweighs the urge for instant gratification. This is the essence of an investor's mindset. Remember, wealth is not only about money, it begins in the mind. Protect your thoughts, train your focus, and cultivate a mindset that seeks growth, embraces risk responsibly, and plans with clarity. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Invest in it wisely, and your financial future will reflect the discipline and foresight you practice today. Guard your mind, and the wealth you desire will follow naturally. When I first began my journey, I quickly realized that success wasn't invented in a vacuum. People who achieve financial freedom, personal growth, or influence didn't stumble upon it by accident. They followed certain principles, patterns, and behaviors that consistently produced results. And here's the truth. Success leaves clues. Every wealthy person, every high achiever, every visionary leaves behind breadcrumbs. If you learn to read them, you can bypass years of trial and error and accelerate your own journey. Think about it this way. Why do athletes watch game tapes? Why do musicians study the masters? Why do entrepreneurs study market leaders? It's because there's a method to excellence, a formula that works. They know that learning from those who have already climbed the mountain is more efficient than starting at the bottom and hoping to reinvent the wheel. And the same principle applies to wealth and financial freedom. Philosophically, this is profound. Life does not require you to be the first to discover every truth. Human experience is cumulative. The great minds, the great investors, the great leaders, they've already faced the obstacles, made the mistakes, and uncovered strategies that work. When you observe carefully, their victories become your lessons, their missteps become your warnings, and their principles become your playbook. To ignore these clues is to reinvent struggle unnecessarily. Practically, how do you follow the clues? Start by identifying people who have what you want: financial independence, freedom of time, influence, or mastery in your field. Study them deeply. Read their books. Watch their interviews. Dissect their habits. Take notes not on the flashy outcomes, but on the daily disciplines and decisions that led to those results. For example, if you want to build wealth like a seasoned investor, observe how they allocate money, how they diversify, how they manage risk, and how they leverage their time. Their routines are the clues. Their decisions are the clues. Their mindset is the clue. Wealth strategies emerge naturally from this approach. Implement what you learn in small, deliberate steps. If a successful investor always sets aside a percentage of income before spending, do the same. If a business leader focuses on consistent education and skill growth, model that discipline in your life. You are not copying blindly. You are adapting proven principles to your unique circumstances. The power lies not in mimicry, but in mindful application. I recall when I was starting, I made a conscious effort to attend seminars, read biographies, and study people who were 10 steps ahead. At first, it felt like absorbing a foreign language, but over time, patterns emerged. I noticed the same values repeating: discipline, patience, responsibility, and strategic action. I didn't need to guess which path would work. The clues were all there. Following them allowed me to shortcut years of mistakes and move forward with confidence. Remember, wealth is built on principles, not luck. Those who accumulate lasting success rarely invent anything completely new. They discover what works and apply it consistently. Your task is to seek the clues and practice them until they become second nature. Surround yourself with mentors, study successful people, and treat their habits and strategies as your own reference points. In conclusion, don't waste your life wandering blindly. Observe carefully, model intelligently, and act decisively. Success leaves clues. Follow them with diligence, and you'll find the journey toward wealth, freedom, and personal fulfillment much shorter, clearer, and infinitely more rewarding. When we talk about wealth, most people immediately think of money, bank accounts, assets, real estate, or investments. And while these things are important, they are only a part of the equation. Real wealth, the kind that transforms lives, doesn't end with a bank balance. or a property deed, true wealth is generational. It's the ability to pass not just money, but wisdom, values, and principles to those who come after you. It's about leaving a legacy, not just an inheritance. Philosophically, this concept is profound. Anyone can earn a fortune, but few understand how to make that fortune meaningful beyond their own lifetime. Money alone can vanish quickly if it is not paired with understanding, responsibility, and vision. A child may inherit millions but squander it in a few short years without the knowledge of how to manage, grow, or protect it. Legacy, on the other hand, is about equipping the next generation with both resources and the mindset to multiply them responsibly. It is about ensuring that your values, discipline, and vision continue long after you are gone. The first step is education. Teach your family the principles of wealth building, not just the numbers in a bank account. Share with them the importance of saving before spending, investing with intention, and making decisions based on long-term growth rather than short-term gratification. Show them how wealth is built over time, how compounding works, and how discipline and patience yield rewards. In my own journey, I realized early that financial lessons learned at a young age compound just like money. Teaching your children or heirs the principles of value, responsibility, and strategic thinking is the first step toward a lasting legacy. Practical strategies are just as important as philosophy. Setting up structures like trusts, wills, and estate plans ensures that wealth is transferred smoothly and according to your intentions. These are not just legal tools, they are instruments of responsibility, designed to protect what you have built and to guide future generations in using it wisely. Consider establishing family investment vehicles, such as holding companies or joint ventures, that allow younger generations to participate in wealth creation rather than merely consuming it. Encourage involvement and mentorship so that heirs understand how to manage, grow, and reinvest these assets. Wealth strategies extend beyond money to influence and character. A true legacy includes ethical habits, vision, and the mindset that has allowed you to thrive. Lead by example. Show how disciplined decision-making, strategic thinking, and long-term planning can turn small actions into life-altering results. Encourage your family to apply these same principles in business, investing, and personal growth. The goal is not just to provide comfort, but to create capable, confident individuals who can continue building wealth responsibly for generations. I've seen too many fortunes vanish because the focus was on inheritance rather than education, guidance, and values. Money left alone is fleeting. Money paired with knowledge, discipline, and vision can endure indefinitely. Your legacy is the bridge between what you have accomplished and what your family can achieve in the future. So, don't just leave an inheritance. Leave a legacy that teaches, empowers, and multiplies. Build structures, instill principles, and model behaviors that will outlast your lifetime. That is the difference between wealth that ends with you and wealth that continues to grow, to inspire and to empower for generations to come. As we come to the close of this journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned today. Financial freedom is not about luck. It's not about the size of your paycheck or the timing of the market. Financial freedom begins in the mind. It begins with clarity of vision, with discipline in action, and with the commitment to build wealth that lasts, not just income that disappears. We've talked about transforming the way you think about money, moving from wages to wealth, from spending to investing, from surviving to creating freedom. Every principle we discussed today, every strategy we explored, is a stepping stone toward the life you truly desire. We've learned that being rich is temporary if it only touches today. Being wealthy is permanent because it creates options, opportunity, and legacy. We've discovered the power of paying yourself first, of turning earned income into assets that multiply, and of protecting your mind against poverty thinking. We've explored the importance of following proven strategies, leaving a legacy, and ensuring that every dollar serves a purpose. And most importantly, we've seen that financial freedom is a mindset. It's a way of thinking, deciding, and acting that separates those who merely work for money from those who make money work for them. Now, knowledge alone is not enough. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Today, I challenge you to take what you've learned and apply it immediately. Start small if you must. Save a fixed percentage of your income, open an investment account, or begin tracking your spending with intention. Begin planting the seeds of wealth today because, like a tree, they will grow slowly at first, but will eventually bear fruit for decades. Teach these principles to your family, your children, and your circle of influence, so that your success is multiplied through others. Remember, the journey to wealth is not just about money. It's about freedom, freedom of choice, freedom of time, and freedom to live the life you envision. Every decision you make, every dollar you allocate, every hour you invest in yourself compounds over time. Discipline, patience, and consistency are your allies. Guard your habits, guard your mindset, and guard your vision. So, I leave you with this call to action. Take responsibility for your financial future today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. Don't hope for opportunity. Prepare for it. Don't just aim to earn. Aim to build, to grow, and to leave a legacy. Your future wealth, your freedom, and your life of true abundance begin with the choices you make this very moment. Step forward, act wisely, and make your money and your life work for you.